Hello everyone. Since the outbreak of conflict with Russia in February 2022, Ukraine's defense production has surged as companies manufacture a range of drones, also known as unmanned aerial vehicles, missiles, air defense systems, and ammunition. While the Ukrainian military always needs more weapons, the Kyiv government, facing a tight budget, cannot purchase all domestically produced arms. Consequently, Ukrainian defense companies emphasize that with additional funding, they could triple their current output. Denmark's latest initiative, Build in Ukraine, is seen as a small but important step towards allowing Ukrainian businesses to produce equipment on North Atlantic Treaty Organization territory. This initiative not only provides Denmark with access to Ukrainian technology, but also offers crucial support for Ukrainian companies to manufacture more weapons for domestic needs. By enabling Ukrainian companies to build weapons on Danish soil, the Build in Ukraine initiative will transform Ukraine's wartime production shortages into an opportunity to expand its defense footprint abroad. Denmark is allocating over $50 million to support Ukrainian companies starting operations in the country under the Build in Ukraine initiative. The Danish Ministry of Defense describes this as a joint arms production project between the two countries, also benefiting Denmark. Danish Defense Minister Troels Lund Poulsen stated that the project will give the Danish military easier access to some of the newest technology and experience from Ukraine. This may be the type of support that Ukrainian industry leaders have long sought, as it allows Ukrainian manufacturers to sell weapons to foreign partners, thereby expanding their scale and ultimately producing more weapons for the Ukrainian military. In August, Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal announced that joint projects like Build in Ukraine are fully eligible for funding from the European Union. Currently, Ukraine's strict export regulations have effectively frozen arms exports. Therefore, Denmark's approach could unlock the transfer of technology, know-how, intellectual property, or collaborative development with Ukraine. Notably, relocating weapons production lines to the territory of a North Atlantic Treaty Organization member state also helps Ukraine avoid Russian attacks and supports Kyiv's goal of deeper integration with European militaries and industries. This also reduces security costs, which are high in a country at war like Ukraine. Speaking to Business Insider, Serhiy Goncharov, executive director of the National Association of Defense Industries of Ukraine, known as NAUDI, representing approximately 100 companies, expressed his hope that domestic businesses can participate in joint production projects abroad and that more European countries will follow Denmark's lead. According to Goncharov, the Ukrainian government cannot afford to buy all the military products that can be produced in Ukraine. Therefore, Denmark's initiative allows the two countries to support each other by combining Danish resources with Ukrainian expertise, resulting in more equipment for both militaries. Currently, only one Ukrainian company, Firepoint, a manufacturer of unmanned aerial vehicles, missiles, and other weapons, plans to establish new operations in Denmark. In Denmark, Firepoint intends to produce missile fuel. For its part, Denmark is keen to learn technology and rapid production models from Ukrainian companies to guard against potential conflict with Russia, as feared by Western officials. For Ukraine, it is crucial to scale up its defense sector and produce more weapons domestically. This is because, during more than 3 years of conflict with Russia, Ukraine has faced continuous shortages of weapons and ammunition due to Western partner countries temporarily suspending aid. Producing weapons domestically will allow Ukraine to avoid this situation. Furthermore, with domestic weapons, Kyiv can deploy them at will, rather than facing restrictions on the use of weapons provided by partner countries. However, issues such as budget constraints have hampered Ukraine's weapons production capacity. Ukrainian officials have repeatedly mentioned the possibility of exporting certain types of weapons to generate funds to support domestic production. Furthermore, with domestic weapons, Kyiv can deploy them at will, rather than facing restrictions on the use of weapons provided by partner countries. However, issues such as budget constraints have hampered Ukraine's weapons production capacity. Ukrainian officials have repeatedly mentioned the possibility of exporting certain types of weapons to generate funds to support domestic production. Furthermore, with domestic weapons, Kyiv can deploy them at will, rather than facing restrictions on the use of weapons provided by partner countries. However, issues such as budget constraints have hampered Ukraine's weapons production capacity. Ukrainian officials have repeatedly mentioned the possibility of exporting certain types of weapons to generate funds to support domestic production. In October, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy stated that over 40% of the weapons used on the front lines are produced domestically. He wants this figure to increase to 50% by the end of the year. Denmark has emerged as a leader in supporting Ukraine's arms production, exemplified by the Danish Model, an initiative to purchase weapons directly from Ukrainian manufacturers rather than from European or American companies for rapid transfer to the Ukrainian military. The Danish Model has helped Ukraine increase production of some key weapons, such as the 2 US-22 Bohdana 155mm self-propelled howitzer. However, this initiative is still in its early stages, forcing Denmark and its partner countries to continue seeking additional solutions, such as the Build in Ukraine initiative, to help Kyiv accelerate large-scale weapons production. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko believes that the United States providing long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine to fight against Russia will lead to a nuclear war. Ukrainian military intelligence chief Kirill Budanov has become the second high-ranking military figure capable of defeating President Volodymyr Zelenskyy if Ukraine holds a new leadership election. What do you think about this groundbreaking initiative and its potential impact on Ukraine's defense capabilities and the broader security landscape? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this report insightful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update.